And all right, so we have 68.6, 56.3, all rounding to 1. If you didn't round to 1 decimal place, that's fine. Maybe you got 0.57, or maybe you got 56.25 for number 8, that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to look at a table. This information is the same, okay, but we're just looking at it as a table versus printed out for us nicely. So number 9 says the table below shows the number of teachers and the number of students at each of the 4 middle schools. Which school has the most? So let's read our question. Which one has the most? We're looking for the highest students per teacher. Okay, so students per teacher. So that means the students would be the number on top because that's the first thing that I see. Per is where the slash or my fraction goes. And then teacher would be on the bottom. And so that's the order that I want to divide. I want to divide the student number by the teacher number. And then in the end, I'm looking at the comparison. How many has the most students per one teacher, right? Not per 34 teachers or per 40 teachers or per 30, per 28, per 1. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and divide. So we're going to take, again, the student number, 840, divided by how many teachers that school has. So 840 divided by 34. This first one gives me 24.7. Then I do 675 divided by 40, which gives me 16.9. And then we do 604 divided by 31, which gives 19.5. And then the last one, 578 divided by 28, which gives 20.6. So out of all of these options, which one now, unit rate-wise, has the highest number? Which has the most, yes?
Edgewood Middle School.
Good. So this one. And so you might be thinking, you're like, well, that kind of makes sense because 840 was the largest number that I saw students-wise. But we'll find in the next example that that's not always the case. This is why it's important to go to a unit rate. I want to know how many per one teacher. It did end up here that they had a lot of students, but they also had the second highest amount of teachers, right? So that's why that one's pretty high. But maybe take a look at, something like this one here. So 40 teachers, but they didn't have as many students, right? So those numbers together do kind of matter. So let's go ahead and look at this next one. It's not always going to be the highest students. We also need to involve the teachers. So same thing for the next one. This question is, we're talking about 4 people here. We took various road trips over the weekend. The question is, whose car gets the most miles per gallon? So I'm looking for the largest number. Miles is going to go on top. Per, that's where the slash goes. Gallon is going to go on the bottom. So I'm going to take my miles number divided by the gallons number. So I get 225 divided by 14, which is 16.1. I get 312 divided by 15, which is 20.8. I get 315 divided by 10, which is 31.5. And I get 456 divided by 16, which is 28.5. So this time, who actually has the largest miles per gallon? Gabe, good. But did Gabe drive the most miles? No, right? So this one's different, right? So Gabe drove the second highest miles, and he also used the least amount of gallons. So again, we have to consider both numbers. The question isn't asking who drove the most miles. The question is miles per gallon, which is why we have to divide it out into unit rates. I'm not just looking at the miles. I'm looking at miles per gallon. So it's not always the one with the highest first number. That's not always true, like this example here. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. So keep that in mind as you are working. Okay, so let's go ahead and move to the last page. We are going to cross out 12 through 20. I don't think we need that many examples. These are pretty easy, especially on the back side. So 12 through 20, with the even side we're going to cross out, and then you guys will finish some up as well on your own. So now we're going to talk about another special type of unit rate. This is unit prices, okay? They give the cost per one unit. This is especially helpful when comparing and shopping in order to find the best deal. When we find a unit price, we always want to divide, so that's our first blank, divide the price by the quantity or the amount, okay? So, again, I want to divide, which I'll make that look better. There we go. Divide the price by the quantity. So let's go ahead and look at number 11. So if I'm spending $9.40 for 5 cans of soup, my question is, how much is 1 can of soup? Okay, this is really useful when we go shopping to figure out how much one item is. So we can take my price, that number is always first, price divided by the amount. I bought 5 cans. So we're going to take $9.40 divided by 5, which gives me $1.88. When I write this, I'm going to write slash can, per can. Because we're going to put the price first, always, divided by what item that you're buying. I'm buying cans. Okay, so then number 13, 15 gallons of gas for $31.35. Here's where people get this one wrong. Again, price has to go first. So even though that is the second number listed, this is the only time we do this. This is the only time I put the second number on top when we're dealing with price. Price per gallon. Okay, so I'm going to take that total amount, $31.35, divided by how many that I bought. Okay, so $31.35 divided by 15 gives me $2.09 per gallon. So when you go and you drive by the gas station, or maybe you're already driving with your driver's permit and maybe your parents let you fill up gas, what you're doing when you put the gas pump into your car is you're working with rates. The amount on the gas is going up, how much per gallon you put in, right? That's increasing. All right, so let's go ahead and look at number 15. 8 movie tickets for $63.60. Again, price is going to go on top. $63.60 divided by 8. This is a good thing to do. Let's say you or someone that you know bought all the tickets for everyone, right? You need to figure out how much does everyone owe. I take that total price divided by how many tickets. So we get $7.95 per one ticket. So all of your friends would owe you $7.95. Number 17, we have a case of 24 bottles of water for $4.99. This is probably the most useful. Especially you're at a store, you're buying large packs of water, you might choose the cheapest one, but maybe that one only has 12 bottles and another one has 30, right? You want to figure out what's going to be the better deal. So I could take my price, $4.99, divide by how many bottles I'm getting, which is 24. So I get an answer of 21 cents, 0.21 per bottle. And the last one, $5.29 for 5 pounds of hash browns. So this is also like when you buy meat at the store or when you buy fruit or vegetables and it says price per pound, right? So that's if you've ever done self-checkout, you put the items onto the self-checkout and it weighs it. And so then it multiplies by how many pounds that you're getting. So if I want to go in reverse, I want to divide. So $5.29 divided by 5 pounds. I now know that it is $1.06 per pound. And does anyone know how we abbreviate pound? What 2 letters? Good. LB. Good. LB is pound. Okay? So again, we're just dividing. Price is first, even if it's not in the right order. Like how 13 and 15 was. Even if it's not in the right order, you still put price first. Because I want to know how much is the price per item. So that's the order that I want to go. Price is first. Okay, I'm going to do number 21 and 24 with you. And then you guys are going to finish up 22 and 23 on your own. And then once we do that, then I'll give you the homework once I see that you've selected the correct answer. You guys have lots of time to work on the homework. Okay, so 21. This is determining whether option A or option B is the better deal, okay? So I want to go for the cheaper option, right? I want to save money. And this is useful, again, when we're at the store. Use this trick to save a little bit of money. I can either get 64 crayons for $2.99 or 120 crayons for $6.99. So I can take my price of the 64 crayons and divide that by 64, right? So $2.99 divided by 64 will tell me how much I'm getting for that one crayon. So 2.99 divided by 64, I get 0.046. So that 6 is going to bump that 4 up to a 5, right? The 6 is higher. So 0.05 or 5 cents, right, would be the cost of 1 crayon. Then I can do that again. I can take $6.99 and divide that by 120. And so $6.99 divided by 120 gives me an answer of 0.058. That 8 is going to bump that 5 up to a 6 cents. So technically, which one is a little bit cheaper? A. So I would say A. In last class, they had an argument as well of, okay, well, you're getting more crayons for option B for only 1 cent more. True. So this is kind of your opinion, right, if you're at the store. But also, if I bought 2 packs of option A, how many crayons would I get? 128, which is more than 120, and it's a cent cheaper, right? So use those ideas when you're at the store. It might be better to buy 2 packs of the 64 if you're looking for that many crayons. Don't buy the 120 because odds are they're doubling up colors anyways. Buy 2 64s and you get 8 extra crayons for a cheaper amount. Okay, let's look at number 24. We're looking at diapers. So 128 diapers for $26.99. Let's figure how much it costs for 1 diaper. So I'm going to take my price divided by the amount. So I get 26.99 divided by 128. And for the sake of this problem, I'm going to write lots of decimals down, 0.108, and we'll round it in a second. Okay, I'm going to do the second one. So 45.99 divided by 216. I'm also going to write 4 decimals here, 0.2129. So what do we notice if I just want to round to 1 or to 2 decimal places? They're the same, right? So 0.21, 0.21, they're the same. So you have a couple options. There's one like this on the homework. You could say that it's a tie, right? You could say, that's pretty close, right? If we're taking it down to cents, which is as small as money goes, we can't go lower than a cent, they're a tie. But if I go a little bit further, if I round to 3 decimal places, okay, I round to 3 decimal places, then I would move this little color right here. If I want to round to 3, this 8 is going to bump that 0 up to a what? A 1. So this becomes 0.211. This 9 is going to bump that 2 up to a what? 3. So this becomes 0.213. So comparing 0.211 or 211 to 213, what is actually a little bit smaller? The A, right? 211 is barely smaller than 213. So you can either say that it's a tie, or sometimes if you want to take it to the 3rd decimal place and be extra picky, you can. We can actually say option 1 is less than a cent cheaper, but in the end, that's probably not going to matter too much, right? These are basically the same price. So maybe this is the same company, right? So oftentimes when we're comparing, we might be comparing 2 different brands. One brand, maybe especially like the Walmart brand or the Target brand or the basic brand is cheaper than the other one. But not always. You might want to check, okay? So go ahead and finish.